Welcome! Today we are going to master the essentials of personal and household finance. First, we will learn to calculate earnings and solve problems involving profit, loss, and discounts. Then, we will distinguish between and calculate simple and compound interest. By the end of this session, you will be able to handle financial calculations just like they appear on your IGCSE Extended Maths exams. We will cover everything from your basic paycheck to how money grows in a bank account. Our roadmap includes earnings and percentages, simple interest, and compound interest. Let's dive into our first topic, earning money and managing costs. Let's start with the basics of earnings and commercial transactions. In your exams, you'll often need to calculate total pay or determine the final price of an item after a change. First, consider earnings. If a person works a certain number of hours at a specific rate, we multiply them. However, watch out for overtime rates, which are often time and a half or 1.5 times the standard rate. Now, let's look at a typical exam-style problem involving profit and loss. Suppose a shopkeeper buys a phone for £200. This is the cost price. If they sell it for £250, they have made a profit. Profit is calculated as the selling price minus the cost price. So, £250 minus £200 gives us a profit of £50. To find the percentage profit, we always divide the profit by the original cost price and multiply by 100. In this case, it is 50 divided by 200 times 100, which equals 25%. What if there is a sale? If a jacket costs £80 and has a 15% discount, we calculate the reduction. The reduction is 0.15 times 80, which is £12. Subtracting the reduction from the original price, the new price is 80 to 12, which is £68. Alternatively, you can multiply by 0.85, which represents the remaining 85% of the price. This multiplier method is much faster for your exam. Now that we understand basic percentages, let's look at a common IGCSE challenge, reverse percentages. Our goal is to calculate the original value before a percentage change occurred. A frequent mistake students make is trying to calculate a percentage of the final amount to get back to the start. Let's see why that doesn't work through an example. Imagine a television is sold for £102 after a 15% discount. We want to find the original price. Many students think they should just add 15% of 102 back on, but the 15% was taken off the original price, not the sale price. If the price was reduced by 15%, it means £102 represents 85% of the original value. We can write this as original price times 0.85 equals 102. To find the original price, we divide 102 by 0.85. This gives us £120. You can check this by taking 15% of 120, which is 18, and subtracting it from 120 to get back to 102. Remember this rule for your exam. If you are moving backwards in time to find an original value, you divide by the percentage multiplier. Next, we move on to interest. We will start with simple interest, which is the most straightforward way money grows or costs. Our goal is to use the simple interest formula to calculate interest, rate, or time. Simple interest is calculated only on the original amount of money invested or borrowed, which we call the principal. The interest earned each year stays exactly the same. The formula you need to remember is I equals PRT over 100. Where I is the interest earned, P is the principal or starting amount, R is the rate of interest per year, and T is the time in years. Let's look at an example from a past paper. An investment of £600 is made at a rate of 4% simple interest per year for 3 years. Let's find the total interest. We plug the values into our formula. 600 times 4 times 3 divided by 100. The interest earned is £72. If the question asks for the total amount in the account, don't forget to add that interest back to the original £600, giving us £672. Be careful in the exam. Sometimes they give you the time in months. If they say 18 months, you must convert that to years by dividing by 12, which would be 1.5 years. Now we come to one of the most important topics in the IGCSE syllabus, compound interest. Unlike simple interest, compound interest is calculated on the new balance each year. Our goal is to use the compound interest formula to solve investment and depreciation problems. This means you earn interest on your interest. The formula for the total amount, A after n years, is, in this formula, P is your starting principal, R is the percentage rate, and N is the number of years. Let's apply this to a typical exam question. An investor puts £2,000 into a savings account with a 3% compound interest rate per year. We want to find the total amount after 5 years. We substitute the values into our formula. A equals 2,000 times 1 plus 3 over 100 to the power of 5. Notice that 1 plus 3 over 100 is 1.03. This is our multiplier. Using a calculator, we find 1.03 to the power of 5, then multiply by 2,000. The total amount is £2,318 and 55 pence. Always round money to 2 decimal places unless the question says otherwise. If the question asks only for the interest earned, subtract the original 2,000 from your total. This same formula works for depreciation, where something loses value, like a car. In that case, the rate is negative, so you would subtract the percentage from 1 instead of adding it. For example, a 10% decrease uses a multiplier of 0.9. To wrap up, let's look at a complex exam-style problem that combines these ideas. This will test your ability to choose the right method under pressure. Consider 2 options for £5,000 over 4 years. Option A offers 5% simple interest, while option B offers 4.5% compound interest. A student is asked which option earns more interest. Let's calculate option A first using our simple interest formula. Interest equals 5,000 times 5 times 4, all divided by 100. This gives 100,000 over 100, which is £1,000. So, option A earns exactly £1,000 in interest. Now for option B. The total amount is 5,000 times 1.045 to the power of 4. This equals 5,000 times 1.1925, and so on, resulting in £5,962 and 59 pence. To find the interest for option B, we subtract the principal of £5,000. Even though compound interest is usually better, in this specific case, the higher rate of the simple interest option makes it more profitable over 4 years. To summarize the key skills for your exam: first, use multipliers for profit, loss, and discounts. Second, divide by the multiplier for reverse percentages. Third, use the simple interest formula. And fourth, use the compound interest formula. Mastering these formulas and knowing when to use them is the key to success in the IGCSE Financial Maths section. Take some time to practice these calculations with different rates and time periods. Good luck with your revision.